beautiful people. My name is Erica J. Wood. I'm an actress, singer, photographer, model, and whoever else you want me to be creatively. I'm here today because we are going to be discussing episode 9 of season 15 of Married at First Sight, one of my favorite shows on television. Ironically, I watched all of the episodes of You today, which kind of like psychologically may affect my my review today, and it was season 3. Oh Lord, that's a whole nother topic, but I digress. And before I tap into it, did you guys happen to see the commercials for next week's episode, the preview, where Ben is handing Morgan some roses and she drops them on the floor? I don't know exactly what happened, but all I can say is the masculine was all the way out. And it's a bit scary because in the preview, I was like, oh, is she about to give some Muay Thai moves, you know? Was she about to put her hands on Ben? Like, what's going on, Morgan? Or was she overreacting again? You know? Well, we'll find out next week. But I digress. Tonight's episode was very, 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 very interesting. And I know normally break it up by couples, but I just want to just have an open conversation. Comment below. Tell me what you guys thought about tonight. How you felt about the couples. What revelations you came across. And yeah, like have any of your original couples that you were rooting for, do you see any changes or shifts in them? Were there any couples that you decided like, oh, when you made the assumption that they weren't going to work at the beginning? Have you had a change of heart in that on any couples? But I'm going to give you my rundown, and I'm going to start with Mitch. Lord have mercy, Mitch. Could you have not just worn the shirt in peace? And then he gives a long, drawn out, crazy explanation about why he doesn't want to wear the shirt. Okay, so let's backpedal. This episode was definitely an eye-opener to a lot of people's triggers and traumas, right? And as time is going on, the honeymoon is over. Like, let's get to the root of it all. Mitch and Kristen went for karaoke, okay, earlier in the episode. It seemed amazing. It seemed so much fun. And then he flips the script because she happened to mention that she flips houses. So karaoke was good. He was freestyling. She was singing, dancing the whole nine. And then they sit down to have a drink, and he asked her what her long-term goals were. And she happened to mention that she really wants to flip homes. And then here he goes being Mr. Environmentalist, taking something so simple of wanting to flip homes and turning it into a political fiasco of it's not right because when people flip homes, developers buy it and not families, and I don't believe in that, and humanity's messed up. Okay, sir, Mitch, calm it down about 5 notches, because what you're doing is you are literally self-sabotaging. And now I feel like when Kristen a few episodes said that she had the ball in her court after he happened to mention on their honeymoon that he wasn't physically attracted to her, I feel like she's losing grip of that, because now she's just doing everything to make Mitch happy. And my biggest fear about that is Mitch, with all of his qualms, I think he's a Scorpio. Let me just put that out there. I think he's a Scorpio. But Mitch, with all his qualms, self-sabotages, and I feel like he will use this experiment, or Kristen, as the catalyst to make him a better man for somebody else. And that is what I don't want to happen. I can see it as clear as day. Either he's going to relax and enjoy his marriage and accept Kristen for who she is. I feel like he's already made it up his mind that he's still not physically attracted to her. He's going through the motions. He doesn't want to be seen as the bad guy. But I do feel, in all honesty, that he might say no on decision day, and take all of these experiences to be a better man for another woman. There's no judgment in that, but it shows me, and it's gonna be, you know what it is? It's gonna be the woman that's not even deserving of it. It's gonna be the woman that doesn't deserve the better Mitch. And ladies, comment below if you can attest to this. You meet a guy, there's so much potential, and you help to build him to be a better person, and then he takes those skill sets to a girl that's not even half of your quality. Ugh, the audacity. Anyway, I digress. You know, hopefully in the long run it'll work, but I still don't see it. Now I want to tap into Stacia. Now Stacia and what's his name? Stacia and Nate, yeah. So Nate really surprised me this week in a good way. I do feel like he's slowly opening up and he's being honest. And I started to see Stacia revert to the little girl, and every woman has gone through this, you know, overthinking a situation and then coming up with bizarre scenarios just to appease the war that's going on within her, or the insecurities that are going on within her. And every woman has gone through that until they find like that level of peace and understanding. I think it's completely important to ask the necessary questions in your new relationship. However, I'm starting to see her self-sabotage because she has this perfect image of who she wanted her husband to be. And Nate is not perfect. And what threw her for a loop is that because she's so well accomplished and she's good looking, that she expects to be somebody's prize all the time. And so when they were sitting down by the pool and she asked what percentage they were at, and, you know, Nate said, you know, his level of love or his level of, you know, commitment in this relationship at the current state was about a 4 out of 10, which is 40%. And so she took complete offense to that, as if it was supposed to be a 10 out of 10. Because in her mind, I think she gave a 9 out of 10. And it just shows the realities of a relationship. Now, again, I do still feel that Nate has a lot of growing up to do. And comment below if you feel that Nate does too. It's just a natural element of a man. They are slower. He's a little younger than her. However, he is putting in the effort. He's opening up to go to therapy. He's opening up and being honest. I'd rather a man be honest than lie. He gave her 40%, right? And she couldn't handle that. And so she's in her mind because it's a form of rejection for her. Because he happened to say, if I wasn't committed to this, if I wasn't going to try, I would have said a 0 out of 10. A failing grade. A D is not any better, but in all honesty, it's his truth. And so a week or two from now, it could end up being 60%, so on and so forth. And I think that although, you know, last week I did talk about the stupid gene, forgive me. I wasn't trying to be insensitive to men, but there is a slower motion in men than it is women, but they are very logical. And so, you know, we can joke about that element within men, but when it comes on to serious commitment, they're very intentional behind it. And so we can't afford to rush the process. And I think that's what Stacia was doing. She wanted to rush the process so that he can get to where she is. And you can't do that. You have to meet people where they are. Yes, he has mommy issues, but he's willing to go to therapy. So Stacia, don't shoot yourself in the foot right now. I just need you to relax. Take it a day at a time. Be easy and just flow with it, right? Because you have a good man who can be a greater man if you're patient, all right? And patience sometimes, ladies, I know is not the easiest word to deal with. Like, Lord. Whose time period are we on? Whose timetable are we on, God? But anyway, I digress. So I found that to be interesting, but I respect his honesty. Now let me tell you about Justin. Justin is coming off as narcissistic and manipulative. Again, like last week, I thought Alexis' issue. No, it's Justin. Justin, based on that preview we saw with Morgan and Ben, Justin ran his mouth to his wife. Justin is sloppy. Justin is a lot of feminine energy, and as is Ben. However, Ben got in trouble the last time for talking to Justin. He should have learned a lesson then. Okay? But whatever happened in the preview for next week, Justin's the one that got Ben in trouble again. So I hope Ben learns a lesson, because Justin is messy. And just when they all were out and wearing the matching shirts, everyone was in a good vibe. Justin got all defensive, because the therapist was asking questions. He wasn't making any sense. And I think that his true colors are starting to come out. He's not sweet. He's not perfect. I think that he has a lot of defensive walls up, and he's just lashing out when he feels uncomfortable. So Alexis brought it out. She was like, when you're uncomfortable, when you don't say what you mean, then I'm just trying to make sure that we're okay. And everybody agreed with her. But, the therapist had to play the devil's advocate for the moment in time. However, Justin is messy. He is messy. And it's going to take a lot for Alexis to follow through with this relationship. I think for the longest, she probably thought she had everything in the bag because Justin was a yes man. And so a lot of those, he love bombs. That is what Justin does. He love bombs, and then the true Justin comes out. I'm starting not to trust you, Justin, because what you'll do is you start to cry. Tear up. Nah, you're not as innocent as you seem. Keep your eye on Justin, y'all. Tell me what you think, because I don't think Alexis is going to follow through with the marriage. I really don't. Not now. Not at this point. Because he's showing some colors that are narcissistic. I thought I would never use the term for Justin, but yeah, Justin, I'm starting to see some narcissistic tendencies from you, because you're starting to be figured out, and now you don't know what to do. But I digress. Alexis, you good in my book now. I'm not gonna lie. Right now, you're good in my book, because you are speaking intellectually. You are getting through your relationship in the most intelligent, emotionally intelligent type of way, and I can respect that. You're not just flying off the handle. But based on the episode next week, maybe you should start keeping your mouth shut. Justin, shut up. Stop talking about people. When friends confide in you, just keep your mouth shut. Respectfully. I digress. Who else? Who did I miss? Lindy, sweetheart. Miguel is trying to embrace this relationship. And he was afraid of the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And I said that last week. The whole Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, that's that Gemini tendency. They're not bad people. I kind of feel for Geminis. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel for them, because if a sign is naturally has two elements to them, it has to be hard to find that inner peace. We joke about certain things, but when you start to look at relationships and people, it's all psychological. It's experience, it's trauma, it's healing, it's finding that rhythm and pace. And that's why I try to have an empathic tolerance or respect for certain people, but then everybody has a breaking point. Don't get me wrong, everyone has a breaking point. But Miguel did ask valid questions that, what is it going to take? Do you have to just deal with things or certain behaviors from people because you love them or you're married to them? Because Lindy was mentioning something about the grace. You have to offer grace, but to what extent? Everyone has a breaking point. The Bible says it is better to be on a rooftop than to be in a house with a contentious woman. So if the Bible has enough sense to tell a person that you don't have to be dealing with people's crazy, then you don't have to deal with people's crazy. It is about accountability. Lindy is going to have to figure out whether it's going through counseling to calm all of that energy down, because, she was mad about health insurance last week. She's not really showing her true colors because she admitted it at therapy out in front of everybody. And she's holding back her crazy. And I think Miguel wants to see her level of crazy, like her fullest level of crazy. He just saw her just get a little irritated based on the health insurance. But I don't know, because I know enough Geminis to know that they are not mentally or emotionally stable. And it's unfortunate. It really is, because it just is. And not all Geminis are the same. But I know enough to know that they're confused or conflicted inside. And they don't see anything wrong with that. But when people distance themselves from Geminis, they have to take an account for that. And I'm going to tell you, here's some Geminis. Kanye West, Donald Trump. You know, those are just two examples, even though they're not women. There's just two examples of Gemini. Just saying. Okay? But all in all, jokes aside, I do hope that Lindy gets out of her own way and can continue to enjoy the process. I do understand where she's coming from, that when you love or when you make a commitment, that is for the long haul, but to what extent? If it's peaceful, if it's, you know, we're getting over our issues quickly and we're resolving them quickly to move on to happier times, that's one thing. But like, you see family members, you see friends or their parents, and they're always arguing. They don't like each other. You know, it's that misery, but they're married for 50 years. Like, I don't want that kind of marriage, and I don't want that kind of marriage for anybody else. Traumatic marriages where you don't want to come home. You know, you just stay together for the sake of staying together, but you go out and drink before you get home. Like, those kind of toxic relationships are not what anybody wants. So I agree with Miguel on, you know, understanding his truth, and that's just what it is. There's no harm, no foul in that. I respect it. Women, I noticed most of the women in this particular episode were showing the atypical behaviors of just kind of give in to me, do what I say, with the exception of Kristen, because Kristen has been going above and beyond to make Mitch feel comfortable in this relationship, and now she's losing herself because he's not reciprocating that. He's just taking, and he's awkward. Like, if your wife buys you a shirt, the least you can do is like, babe, thank you, I'll wear it for the day. You know, or he could have put it over his long sleeve shirt. But he comes up with some crazy scenario about why he didn't want to wear it and all these X, Y's, and Z's. And let me tell you something, and this goes back to what I said earlier. When it comes on to him, he might take all of these experiences and use it for another woman. How many times can people relate to being in a relationship or observing friends in relationships, right? Hypothetically, this is an example. You know, they always told their ex-girlfriend or their ex-boyfriend that they never wanted to get married. They never wanted to get married. And they were a stickler for that. And then they meet the next person and then they get married. You understand what I'm saying? So people will make exceptions for who and what they want to make exceptions for. It was just a t-shirt, and she had to literally pull teeth for him to wear it. And he's just like a big baby behind it. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm an environmentalist, and I don't like when people tell me what to do. You're a weirdo because you like to tell people what to do. You want your wife to go to the beach with you to pick up trash, but she does it willingly, and you can't even wear a shirt? I digress. What couple am I missing? I said Justin, Lindy. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing, guys? Justin and Alexis, Lindy and Miguel, right? I did Ben. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Hold on. Who am I missing? This is crazy. Married at First Sight. Who am I missing, guys? This is crazy. I'm missing somebody. I know that. Stacia, I did Stacia and Nate. I did Kristen and Mitch, right? Morgan and Ben. Lindy and Miguel. Alexis and Justin. Okay, I got them all. I think if I miss somebody, guys, I'll figure it out next week. But I hope you guys learned a little bit about the couples from watching the episode tonight. Hopefully they make it through, and like I always say, I commend them for making this huge decision on being bold and brave in marrying a complete stranger. But I do feel like there has to be more accountability with the women. They're playing the victim role, and again, I'm not a believer in happy wife, happy life. I'm a believer in accountability on both parties. And that's the only way a relationship can last, you know? But I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review. It was very analytical, but I wanted to make sure that I got it out because I've been doing a lot, so I didn't want to be like late with getting it out. Anyway, I'm late. I mean, it's tired. I'm late. I'm tired. Sorry, it is late, and I do want to get ready for work tomorrow. But comment below if you have any insight on any of the couples, what you felt, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend. Yes, Labor Day weekend. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Live your life because summer's almost over and we're about to go right into fall. Bye, y'all.